Hey, welcome to another match. Coming off my 5-0 in my last league. Let's see if I can repeat the feat. This hand is nice. I would like a ether vial, and I'm worried about being a little bit slow, but it definitely has power. Rattle chains and Drog Skull Captains are pretty nice. I do enjoy being able to play most of my cards at instant speed. It is quite nice. Our opponent does seem to be taking quite a while to think, however. What are my thoughts so far on Blue-White Spirits? See, Spirits is one of the weirder decks I've played. I've played janky decks. And the janky decks, they win because you're like, yeah, I got to execute my random jank that's total bullshit, and it worked. Huzzah! And I've played good decks, like Affinity, where you're just like, well, my deck feels super powerful and I just roll over my opponent and kill them dead. Spirits doesn't really fall into either of those camps because I'm never like, oh, I'm playing super powerful cards, or oh, I'm janking them out with some stupid strategy. It's always like, oh, come on, is this burn again? I don't want to play against burn. Anyways, what I was saying is, Spirits always feels like you're just not playing great cards, and yet somehow they line up well against your opponent's stuff, and you get there. And it's weird, but it works. I probably should... No. I don't know if I should have played Flooded Strand or not. I don't know if I'm beating this turn 1 Goblin Guide, though. It's just the fact that I can't block it until it's hit me for 4 damage, and then I'm trading with it, it's just very awkward. And I'm definitely not beating Goblin Guide into Eidolon on the play. Not without a, not without his hand being awful. I don't really care about discarding that Flooded Strand because I'm never going to be able to have a life to use it. That is a lot of Goblin Guides. That is a lot of creatures. I need to draw a Supreme Phantom or I'm just kind of dead. Path to Exile. I guess Path is okay. So I take 5 down to 9. Selfless Spirit blocks a guide. I path something else. Probably the Swift Spear. I really want him to... Oh, God. Him not playing a land means that he's got spells in hand, and I'm just not beating spells. I'm not beating Guide into Eidolon into double thing on the draw. Doesn't matter, I can't win. Alright, negates and worships. Out with phantasmal images and curious obsessions. I feel like the optimal start for this deck is turn 1 Vial, turn 2 Mausoleum Wanderer, Rattlechains, turn 3 Drogskull Captain or Kira, or Squeller, and a Supreme Phantom. If you can go like Vial, 1-drop and 2-drop, into 2-drop and 3-drop, you're just like, yeah, this is great. But we shall see. Fortunately, it's burn players. Definitely on the slower side of slow. Sort of obnoxious. Yes, I would like to play first. Ooh. Wow, this hand is interesting. I think I'm going to keep. And I'm very likely to get punished for it. But it has everything I want except for a second land. I'm going to fetch basic island just because taking two damage off a shock land is just unacceptable in this matchup. But if I can draw a second land and cast the Supreme Phantom next turn, and then have Supreme Phantoms and Spell Quellers or Negates, I'll be in great shape. Ideal scenario would be a Goblin Guide reveals a land. Now, Goblin Guide reveals not land. I'm in terrible, terrible shape. And we'll probably lose. Yes! Mutavault. We did it. Perfect. Mission accomplished. Etc., etc. More important to start running out creatures than to get the second Vial down, although I might try to sneak in a second Vial at some point. Now, I just want to dodge Searing Blaze. It would be wonderful if I could Vial in a Mausoleum Wanderer to counter the Searing Blaze. That would be like a huge game, but I'm just gonna get Searing Blazed and wrecked, I think. I hate Searing Blaze so much. Second Goblin Guide. Don't have a bolt. Don't have a bolt. Don't have a bolt. Rift Bolt. Ooh. Perfect. So I'm going to hold up negate. And hope he points that bolt at my Supreme Phantom. And then I can vial in another Supreme Phantom. No such luck. I'm not yet at the point where I want to negate that. Several lands. Excellent. Eating both Goblin Guides is really nice. I just wanted to use my mana. Let's take up the Ether Vial. I play a tapped Hallowed Fountain. I'm going to have one Spell Queller up. And get in for 8, putting him at 8. And then I can Vial in a Spell Queller. Playing the tapped Hallowed Fountain means that I don't take 2 damage, and I can hard cast a Spell Queller next turn, so I'll have double Spell Queller. Right, so that Rift Bolt is fine. Lightning Helix gets Spell Quellered. And that should be the game. Perfect. Unfortunately, I really hate playing game 3 on the draw against... I just hate playing on the draw against Burn. I'll just leave it at that. You always feel like, oh, I'm on the draw against Burn. I am a favorite to lose this game. I think more than any deck, I feel like Burn is so massively different in win rate based off of the die roll. You're like, oh, I lost the die roll game 1, and they were on the play, and so they ran me over. And then on game 2, I was on the play, so I didn't get run over. And then game 3, I was on the draw again and died. This hand has a Vial and 2 worships. Oh god, if this draws lands, it's perfect, except for the double worship. But even the double worship's okay. Well, never let it be said that I'm not way too greedy for my own good. Come on, Goblin Guide, give me a land. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect indeed. Could not have drawn up a better start, except for like my opponent mulliganing to death and, you know, quitting. But for my opponent keeping 7, so far so good. Yeah. My opponent certainly has a good draw. I think I'm actually discarding this Flooded Strand to hand size, which does amuse me. More islands. I really need to draw a 2-drop for this to be optimal. Also quite nice that I am safe from a Searing Blaze right now. Although the fact that he didn't play a land pre-combat implies to me that he either doesn't have Searing Blaze or has a handful of gas. The first option I like. The handful of gas option, not so much. So he does have the Searing Blaze, which means the rest of his hand is good stuff. I am countering the Searing Blaze. So I'm going to take 2 off the guide down to 12 and kill the Eidolon. So I guess I've cited out the Phantasmal Images, so I can't possibly draw one, which would have been the best possible draw to pair with the Drogskull Captain, but really any 2-drop. Rattle Chains would be good. Another Drogskull. Well, I am certainly playing it. There's a chance I don't actually block this Goblin Guide. I don't think I do. I think the right move is to take the hit off Goblin Guide. Ooh, a Rattle Chains. That's nice. Alright, so next turn, I tick up Vial, draw, activate Vial. If he responds to Vial, so his best move is to kill the Drogskull Captain right now. Okay, so take up Vial, Draw Rattle Chains, activate Vial. Now he bolts the Drog Skull. In response, I Rattle Chains. I'll make the Drog Skull hexproof. Put in that Drog Skull. Might as well bash with Mutavault. And now I win as long as he doesn't have the ability to do 10 points of burn to my face. So I need him to not have land, Boros Charm, and Lightning Bolt or Lava Spike. Anything that is not land, bolt, lightning bolt, lava spike. Land, Boros Charm. So he has to have a land, he has to have a Boros Charm, and then another 1-mana burn spell, or he loses. It's possible that what I should have done was attacked with the Drogskull Captain to try to make him bolt it so that I could Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have tried harder to get the worship down. It's an interesting question. Well, he's not just playing his cards and bolting me in the face until I'm dead. So there's that. Looks like this is shaping up to be a win. Lightning Helix is perfectly acceptable. Sure. Rift Bolt all you want. Spell Queller backup? Alright, well, at this point I can confidently declare victory. With double worship and Spell Queller. Alright. See you next match.